Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. So I just got in the mail ColourPop's new Valentine's palette. This year it is called Heart to Get. They did like a cute little Valentine's Day theme this year, which I think is really fun. I must confess that I love Valentine's Day. It is one of my favorite holidays. It might actually even be my favorite holiday. I also love Christmas, but I have kids, so a lot of work goes into Christmas. But Valentine's Day, not so much. I work with kids also, and just like making the little Valentine's cards and like decorating little bags to put them in and all the little things everybody brings. It's so cute. I love Valentine's. But I also love like the anti-Valentine's Day marketing that we get sometimes, that like cute kind of anti-romance single boss girl stuff. It's really fun. I think the whole holiday is really fun, pretty much no matter how you celebrate it. So I'm always so excited to see what ColourPop is going to do for Valentine's, because I think every year since I've been buying from ColourPop, which was like in 2022, they've had a Valentine's Day palette. So this year I got really excited. This year's palette is called Heart to Get. And it does have kind of like an anti-Valentine's Day theme. Some of the shade names are things like Booked and Busy, Can't Compare, Breaking Hearts. I think this is really cute. And to go along with that theme, it's kind of a grungy palette. Like we have, your usual Valentine's Day pinks, and I used some of those in the look that I did. But you also have like your browns, there's even a black here. Even some of the shimmers are like kind of neutral. So I don't know, I thought it would be really fun to do a grungy Valentine's Day look. And so that's what I went with today. Now this came with a whole collection. I did not get the lip products, just because I have endless amounts of lip products, but I did get the blushes, and I also wanted to show those to you. They're in those traditional ColourPop heart compacts, but apparently they made them easier to open this year. That's what the advertising says. And it does feel a little easier to open, although the mechanism is exactly the same. It's just this little tab that kind of catches. So if you really struggled with it, it might still be hard. For me personally, it does feel easier, even though it is the same mechanism. Now, the thing that I like about these blushes is they went with like a lustery kind of blush. This is the one that I'm wearing today. This one is called Feelings Mutual. And this is the color that was kind of in the middle of the blush spectrum, since they released 3 of them. So I will swatch the shimmers from this palette so we can see what they look like. But if you're interested and want to hang around, I will also be swatching the 3 blushes that came with this collection. Okay, so let's talk about the look that I did with this palette. I wanted to go for something that was pinky and Valentine's-y, but also put like a grungy spin on it. So what I ended up using was, I went in with You Wish pretty much over my entire lid. I've got You Wish on the lid. I kind of blended it up even to my eyebrows, and I kind of even put some below the lid also, so there would just be like color. I really like this tone on my skin. Sometimes pink can turn weird on me just because I have like some yellowish, olivish undertones, but this one really is like a nice pink. It doesn't make me look sick or too tired. It's just like you can tell that it's pink and it's pretty. So then after I put that on, I went in with this like really dark red, or I'm sorry, this really dark black. It's called Get the Hint. And though it is like a black matte, it also has just a little bit of red and even purple shimmer in it. Let's see if I can show you that shade. It's a pretty shade. Since I used very little of it on my outer corner, and also just a teensy bit on the inner corner, and then I smoked it out like a lot, I feel like you don't really get any of the shimmer in the look that I did. But it did turn out really cute. I think it was is a nice smoky eye kind of a aesthetic. And then in the inner corner, though I did put that black in there and I did kind of smoke it out, I wanted to brighten it up a little bit. So I put 99% Angel, just the teensiest bit on those inner corners. And I feel like that really helped kind of lighten that look a lot. And then to really make it Valentine's-y, I did use this pink shimmer Sweet Talk. And though it is like a light pink shimmer, it does have a purplish kind of sheen to it once it is on the lid, as you can maybe kind of see. So I used that like just in the middle, and I thought that worked really cute with the grungy black that I did on the outer and inner corners, and just like having that bright pink in the middle. I thought that was a fun way to kind of elevate the look from straight grunge to like, hey, this is kind of a flirty fun grunge. Okay, now that we've talked about the look, let's get to swatching. I really want to show you some of these shimmery shades. And I will say, for those of you who are new to the channel, when I'm swatching, I don't usually do all of the shades, just because I feel like when you have a matte shade, you can see pretty clearly, both in the pan and from product swatches, kind of what it's going to look like. I don't feel like a lot of editing usually goes into those to kind of make them look better than they really are. But sometimes shimmers can be like that. You don't really know what they're going to look like. Sometimes there's some editing that kind of makes them look a little more shimmery than you might expect once they're actually on your skin. So I will swatch the shimmers for you. And we are going to start with 99% Angel. This was kind of like a silver when I used it in my inner corner, but we're going to see what it turns out like right here. It actually has more of an opalescent kind of, there's a little bit of red, a little bit of blue to that. So you can kind of see that. It's got a little bit of sheen. I will say that the shimmers that I have used so far, which were 99% Angel and Sweet Talk, they really weren't great shimmers. So when I'm using my finger on them, they weren't like, I had to kind of rub to pick up some of the pigment, which is not usually the case for ColourPop. I mean, their shimmers are never going to be as good as like a nice indie brand, but I feel like I don't usually have to rub to get enough pigment to make a nice swatch. So let's see what some of these other ones are like, because I don't want to mislead you and tell you all the shimmers are bad when it's really only the two that I've used. So let's go in for Booked and Busy. This one looks like a lighter neutral. It's not really a gold. It's more of like a top, maybe. Taupe. Here we go. Oh, wow. Interesting. Okay, so it's like, really? I'm gonna get some more of that. It like has big pieces of foil. Yeah, look at how big those pieces are. That's really interesting. And then like under that is maybe, it's almost kind of rose gold. Like there's just a tad bit of pink in there. I'm not sure what exactly to call that color. It's a pretty neutral color. I'm not sure also about these big flakes. I feel like that might be difficult to work with. It almost looks like glitter, but I don't think ColourPop uses a lot of glitter anymore. Okay, no, I checked on the palette. It is not real glitter. It's just kind of giving glitter with those big flakies. I think that could be pretty depending on the kind of look you were trying to go for. I personally, that's not my kind of shimmer. I like a foily kind of shimmer better. But it is pretty. Okay, we're gonna move on to Can't Compare. This looks like a similar neutral shade, but it is darker. I'm gonna just really rub this one because I want to get a good swatch. Okay, let's put that on and see what it looks like. Ooh, yes, see? This is up my alley. This is exactly what I want a shimmer to look like. So this is a good one. This one is kind of like a darker brown, lighter than a chocolate, and it does have that like metallic, almost foily kind of shimmer to it. that really, like, it has a lot of pigment. That's what I really like. It's pretty. It's giving you a lot of color. Not that that first one I think could be a nice topper, but this one is a great shade for the lid. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and swatch Sweet Talk. Since I did this one earlier and I know it needs a lot of pigment, I went ahead and picked up a lot. Yeah, it's even picking up a lot. Like, look, it's great on the first half, but then by the time I'm to the second half of my wrist, it's like gone. So I'm gonna grab some more on there. Kind of bring it over that way so you can really see what the shade looks like, because it's a pretty shade. It's that pink, it's got the blue shimmer. I just wish the formula was better. I'm kind of disappointed by the shimmers in this palette. Okay, we're gonna move on to Mood Lately. I'm hoping this is one of the better ones. It feels less dry already. I feel like the other ones are just so dry, and that's not really usual for ColourPop, so I'm a little baffled. But let's try this one, see what it's like. Oh, that's a gorgeous color. That's really pretty. It is, it's like a neutral, but then it has a blue, almost purple shimmer in it. That's really pretty. I kind of want to do a look at that one. Okay, and lastly, I will swatch this Get the Hint, just so we can see if you can really see the little flecks of shimmer that are in there. Okay, I did a decent amount of rubbing because I was worried, but as you can see from all that pigment, I think we're gonna be okay. This looks like a super pigmented shade. Yeah. This is a very pigmented shade. I don't think that you will need to worry about not getting enough with this one. And you can see that sparkle is in there. That's actually super pretty. If I was going to use this again, I think I would probably use it without really smoking it out for like a chunky winged eyeliner, because that's pretty. I love the sparkle. I love how pigmented it is. That would be easy to do a nice eyeliner with because of that strong pigment. I love that. Okay, now that I've swatched the palette for you, I kind of want to swatch these 3 blushes just so you can see what they look like as well. So I'm going to start with the lightest shade. This one is called Not Your Baby. And that's kind of like it's a little reddish pinkish, maybe like a coral. Let's see what that looks like. Ooh, that's so pretty. I love a nice coral shade. I feel like orangey pinks look really nice on my skin tone. So I haven't tried that one yet on my skin, but I'm gonna have to try it because that's pretty. Okay, this is the shade that I'm currently wearing. It's called Feelings Mutual, and it's kind of a true pink. Very pink. Wow, so this one is lighter. ColourPop confuses me sometimes with their compact colors. I think this is definitely darker than this compact, but the shade is lighter than the other shade. Whatever, it's fine. I'm not picky or anything. But that's a really pretty true pink next to that kind of coralish one. Okay, and then we have the darkest. This one is called Cuter Than Cupid. I love dark blushes. Obviously I have to apply them really sparingly because I am very, very light skinned. But okay, these are supposed to be easier to open, but this one is. Okay, I finally got it. But yes, this one is a really almost kind of maroon red. It's very dark. Yes, obviously I have to apply them really sparingly, but I just love a dark blush. So we'll see how this swatches. Yes, that's so pretty. Look at how deep that is. I can't quite tell if it's like a wine red. And I think it's just there's a hint of purple in there, just like a little bit of maroon. It's pretty. Okay, so overall, my thoughts on this palette and the blushes as well. I'll include that. Um, some of these shimmers, really disappointing. I don't like that feeling of a dry shimmer where it's hard to pick up any pigment, even when you're using your fingers. It makes it even harder to use a brush with them, and I just get kind of irritated, and I find myself avoiding those shades, especially because I'm sure I can find dupes in the rest of my collection. So that's kind of a bummer. I will say some of them were better. Like Can't Compare was really nice, and Mood Lately was also quite nice. But with these three being duds, it was like, well, that's a fourth of the palette when you have 12 pans. So, bummer. I did really love the pigmentation of the mattes. You Wish was fantastic. That pink covered really well, and it looks really nice in pink, even on my skin, which I appreciate. And Breaking Hearts, which I also used in a different look. That one was also super pigmented, super kind of maroony, very pretty. So the mattes are great. It's just the shimmers that are kind of, oh. This one, Get the Hint, which is a matte, but with just like a little bit of sparkle in it. This one was fantastic. I think this is my favorite of the palette, and it makes me want to do a whole nother look just using that, because I feel like I could do some cool gothy things with just like a wall of that color. So I want to try it now. As for the blushes, I was really happy. I like that ColourPop is trying out this new like luster blush. I don't know that I've exactly figured out how to make it work for me. I got some of the kind of luster blushes from Blend Bunny last year when they released their masterclass collection, and I've been trying ever since to figure out how to make it look good on me. I don't know, I might just look better with a matte blush, but I love sparkle, so I really want to figure out how to make it work. So I'm glad that ColourPop is hopping on the trend, and there are some less expensive luster blushes available, because that Blend Bunny palette is really expensive. All in all, a lot of this collection is a hit for me. I love the theme. I think the packaging is cute. I love the color story that they chose. The mattes are great and buildable and really pigmented. Bummer about the shimmers. What can you do? And I also really, really liked the blushes, as I said. I think these are totally worth it and a big hit. Plus, the heart compacts are super cute. They are not, as advertised, much easier to open than they used to be, but at least they're slightly easier. So there you have it. That is the Heart to Get Valentine's collection from ColourPop for 2026. Let me know down in the comments if you have gotten yours or what you think of it, or if you have had any experiences with the last few ColourPop palettes and dry shimmers, because I want to talk about it if they have switched up their formula, because that would be a really big bummer, I think, well, maybe for me. I don't know, maybe other people prefer those shimmers, but personally, I really don't like them. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have an absolutely wonderful day.